"All right, gang, gather round," the camp leader announced cheerfully. "You lot are under my wing now. As of this very moment, you're no longer just individual campers. Say hello to the Hawk Ridge crew." He distributed vibrant green wristbands, our new badges to distinguish us from the rest. As we fastened them onto our sleeves, a peculiar sense of pride washed over me. The Hawk Ridge crew exuded an air of camaraderie and strength, ready to take on any challenge. The inaugural day at the overnight summer camp unfolded, and the counselors guided us toward the bunkhouses where we'd spend the week. Opening the creaking door of a massive pioneer-style wagon, we carted our bags inside, exploring the modest living space as we settled in. The camp, dubbed Wild West Haven, boasted an old Western motif featuring horseback riding, trail adventures, archery, swimming, and a plethora of other engaging activities. In contrast to conventional cabins or tents, our accommodations resembled rustic frontier wagons. Each wagon accommodated 8 campers with bunk beds on either side. I couldn't help but notice the stifling heat inside. Lacking windows, the only source of airflow was the entrance, which remained shut most of the time. "This wagon is like an oven," chimed in another kid before I could utter a word. In a hurry, we all exited the wagon, embracing the refreshing breeze outside. Suddenly, the sun overhead didn't seem as scorching. It was just pleasant to feel the fresh air on my face. The cool wind wafting in from the westward forest was invigorating. "Man, that's sweltering. No way we're sleeping in there," remarked the kid beside me. He matched my height, indicating he was tall for his age. Sporting a red shirt and cargo shorts, he flashed a friendly smile at me. "Yeah, let's hope it cools down overnight," I replied. "By the way, I'm Ethan." "No kidding, I'm Ethan too," I chuckled. It was a common name, yet encountering another Ethan right away at summer camp felt somewhat random. Besides our shared names, we were nearly polar opposites: blonde hair and black hair, light and colorful clothes versus dark attire. Little did I know, I would come to regret meeting this other Ethan, a mirror image with a penchant for chaos. But for now, it seemed we were destined to be fast friends. He extended his hand and we shook on it. "Do you enjoy pranks, Ethan?" he asked in a sing-song voice, a disconcerting look in his eyes. One eyeball seemed to wander while the other fixed on my face. I couldn't pinpoint why, but he made me uneasy. His tone felt off, and his smile was just a tad too wide. "Sure, who doesn't like pranks?" I nervously replied, scanning the area for any nearby adults. They had mysteriously vanished. "Oh, you'd be surprised. Some people have no sense of humor. But I can tell you're a prankster like me. We're gonna have a blast this week, Ethan," he declared, teeth bared in what might be misconstrued as a smile. So much fun." "Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it," I replied, averting my eyes from him. I casually sidestepped, attempting to befriend another group of kids a moment later. But it appeared I had missed the boat. Everyone had paired off into groups, and I found myself stuck with Ethan for the remainder of the week. The following day, Ethan, the other mischievous camper, initiated his pranks. Initially harmless, I reluctantly went along to avoid upsetting him. These were juvenile jokes, and Ethan, armed with an assortment of supplies brought from home, had meticulously planned to unleash chaos upon the camp. His antics commenced with minor pranks, such as salting the camp counselor's sugar shaker in the mess hall. We witnessed their disgruntled expressions as they sipped their morning coffee, only to spit it out, searching for the culprits. Nonchalantly, Ethan and I pretended to enjoy our breakfast. Next, he unveiled a plethora of fake spiders and snakes from his duffel bag, strategically placing them under pillows and in shoes, reveling in the reactions as they were confiscated one by one. When those ran out, he showcased stink bombs, whoopee cushions, silly spray, and thumbtacks. He even stretched cling wrap over toilet bowls, ensuring it would make a mess when unsuspecting individuals used them. Every time I assumed his supplies were depleted, he surprised me with new ways to torment our fellow campers. Midway through the week, suspicions arose about the mysterious troublemaker, but the Hawk Ridge crew remained oblivious. I couldn't help but feel a secret thrill at being in on these pranks, even as the atmosphere grew tense. While these were harmless jokes, at least in terms of physical harm, people were becoming increasingly suspicious. Guards were up, making it challenging to execute these tricks. "We're going to get caught soon," I warned Ethan one morning, outside the Hawk Ridge wagon. Maybe we should take a break and let things cool down. At this point, I still found the pranks amusing. True pranksters never take a day off, Ethan. You should know that by now. He held a toothbrush and toothpaste, and a mischievous twinkle in his eyes hinted at more antics to come. Go knock on their door, he instructed, pointing to one of the wagons, the Wranglers. What are you planning? I asked suspiciously. Just do it, he replied, a hint of seriousness and meanness in his eyes. I reluctantly agreed, knocking on the door while Ethan hid, waiting for it to open, his eyes wild and crazed. Hey, what's up? A camper asked sleepily as the door swung wide, concealing Ethan behind it. Caught off guard, I hadn't prepared a story. Morning. Do you have a towel I can borrow? I lost mine. One sec, the camper said, stepping away. As I stood there, the uncertainty of what Ethan was up to loomed. I feared we would get caught. The camper returned with a towel, and we slipped away unnoticed. One down, 2 to go, Ethan declared with an impish grin, and I began to grasp the ridiculousness of his plan. It seemed more irritating than clever, just another act to turn the camp against us. As if he wanted them to despise him, and by extension, us. A few minutes later, the chaos ensued. At least what Ethan considered as fun. What the heck is this? Toothpaste? One kid exclaimed, his hands smeared with bluish-white goo. Oh, come on. Another kid shook his hand vigorously, splattering toothpaste all around. Ethan had smeared the inside of each sleeper wagon's front door handle with toothpaste. As campers grabbed the handles to open the doors, toothpaste splattered everywhere, staining their shirt sleeves and pants. With no running water except at the main building, cleaning hands or clothing was impossible. Admittedly, it wasn't a particularly clever trick, but it worked like a charm. The campers were irate, not just because they fell for another prank, but also because this one unfolded in broad daylight right under their noses. Someone from the Hawk Ridge crew entered our wagon moments later, yelling in annoyance. I realized Ethan had pulled the same trick on our wagon to divert suspicion. He had rigged the door handles of every wagon, including ours. Who's behind these dumb pranks? Deacon, a popular blonde-haired kid, demanded, toothpaste covering his expensive bright orange shirt with a branded design, something my parents could never afford. It's those Ethan kids, someone pointed in our direction. One of them came to my door asking for a towel, and then this happened. An angry mob quickly formed around us, and Ethan hastily protested. Hey, wait, we didn't do anything. Look, our wagon got hit too. If anything, it was the Eagle Ridge Outlaws. They're untouched. Clearly, it's one of them. I marveled at the success of the scheme. By leaving one wagon untouched, we managed to shift all the attention to them. The other campers hesitated, muttering with uncertainty. Yeah, I guess that's true. All right, maybe it wasn't you guys. Most agreed, except for Deacon, who remained unconvinced. As others dispersed, he lingered, watching us with a skeptical gaze. You two think you're pretty clever, huh? Well, I'm not as naive as the rest, he told us. I know you just did that to throw them off your trail. I know it's been you two pulling this crap all week. I'll catch you next time and make sure you get kicked out of here. You ruined my favorite shirt with toothpaste, you fucking jerks. I'll make sure you pay for it. Deacon left our wagon, wiping his sticky hands on his already stained shirt. I knew from experience, nothing was getting that mess out. Once Deacon was out of earshot, Ethan laughed and raised his hand for a high five. Man, we got them. It worked like a charm. I weakly high-fived him and glanced down at my shoes. I didn't feel like celebrating. I felt like throwing up. Once again, I wished I had made friends with anyone at camp except for Ethan. The following day brought scorching heat, prompting us all to embark on a hike to the river for a refreshing swim. It took us a solid hour to travel through the dense forests, swatting at mosquitoes throughout our journey. Upon reaching the water, we discovered a crystal-clear river nestled between cliffs on one side and a forest on the other. Some of us ventured off to climb the hills in an attempt to reach the cliff tops, while others opted to stay behind for a swim. I separated from Ethan and joined another small group that reluctantly accepted me despite our differing squads. Since it was just a day trip with no competitive activities, mingling with other kids was more accessible, providing a welcome excuse to escape Ethan's company. I ascended to the peak of one of the cliffs with this new group, Sam, Adrian, and Elliot. What's the deal with that guy you're always with? Adrian inquired as we dangled our legs off the cliff, gazing down into the blue river below. What do you mean? He's bizarre, man. Deacon thinks he's the prankster wreaking havoc on everyone. Honestly, we thought you were part of it. But now that I'm getting to know you, you seem decent enough. I don't know, I responded, pausing. He's peculiar. I didn't really want to be friends with him. We just ended up hanging out together. Before I could add anything else, the camp counselors called us back down to the swimming area. It was time to return to camp. Ethan was nowhere in sight. I felt a sense of relief not having to spend time with him for a while. He was starting to grate on my nerves. That night, out of the blue, Ethan appeared beside me as we sat around the campfire, singing songs. He leaned over and whispered a secret. I stumbled upon something in the woods. You've got to check it out, dude. I wasn't particularly keen on following him, but he wouldn't accept no for an answer. Insisting that I must see this incredible thing, he had an unusual enthusiasm. At that point, I didn't perceive him as dangerous, just peculiar. Maybe he had found some hidden treasure. I was just a kid and didn't know any better. There was dirt and mud smeared across his face and clothes, as if he'd been digging somewhere. Eventually, I gave in and stealthily joined him as we ventured into the forest. The campers' songs faded behind us as we delved deeper into the dark woods. Are we getting close? I'm tired. I want to go back. Just then, a sound emanated from the forest, off the path, resembling a distressed animal. We can't go back now. We're there. Don't you want to see? He asked, giving me a wide smile. Come on, I'll show you. He pulled my arm, leading me over a ridge, deeper into the trees. A shape became visible ahead, slumped behind the broad trunk of an oak. As we approached, I realized it was moving, heaving up and down like someone crying. What is this? I stumbled closer, through leaves and mud. It's Deacon. Or at least what's left of him, Ethan said from behind me. It dawned on me. I had been so preoccupied looking for Ethan during the earlier hike that I hadn't noticed Deacon's absence. He had been gone for the same duration, unnoticed even by the camp counselors. As I circled the tree to get a better look at Deacon's face, I saw the reason for his whimpering. Ethan had subjected him to unspeakable horrors. Barely clinging to life, Deacon breathed in shallow wheezes, blood dripping from wounds that marred his face and body, rendering him almost unrecognizable. His ears, lips, nose, eyelids, and fingernails were gone, and both his legs were stacked nearby. Aren't you happy? Ethan asked quietly, gazing at me with his one lopsided eye. Terror consumed me like never before. Now we can keep having fun. Nobody's going to get in our way. Why the hell would you ever think I would want this? You're a psychopath. Stay away from me, you freak. His eyes darkened, his brows furrowed, and suddenly he looked very angry. No longer the playful, trickster Ethan I had befriended. I spun around, attempting to escape, managing a few steps before tripping over a root. The impact was brutal, my jaw snapping shut painfully as I hit the ground. Slowly rising to my feet, I heard rapid footsteps behind me. The sound of heavy breathing. Then, a force struck the back of my head, sending me collapsing to the ground again. Dirt filled my mouth and everything went black. As I came to, a bizarre scene unfolded around me. The other Ethan was now wrapped in a blanket, conversing with several police officers. Tears streamed down his face as he pointed at me, claiming he was terrified. Sick freak, someone uttered. It was Adrian standing with Sam and Elliot, the three friends I had made when the other Ethan wasn't around. I can't believe you killed him, Elliot spat. Yeah, the guy didn't do anything to you, Sam retorted. My mind raced, attempting to make sense of the situation. Then it hit me. Ethan was framing me for everything. He had been playing me all this time. Ethan was delivering a tearful performance for the adults, his act so convincing that I nearly bought into it. I had to hand it to him. He was quite the actor. He attacked Deacon. He attacked me. I tried to scream, but no sound escaped my mouth, just a muffled clicking and a strangled scream. The pain of attempting to talk was excruciating. Shut up, weirdo, the police officer snapped, devoid of sympathy, before turning his attention back to the other Ethan. Almost done, kid. You're doing great. Just one more thing. What about his face? Did you see him do that to himself? Then, I felt it. The pain at the corners of my mouth. A sensation I hadn't noticed before. I had been slashed with a knife blade on both sides of my mouth, creating an upward cut like a Joker's smile. He mentioned that he found the pranks so amusing that he needed a permanent laugh. He wanted to keep laughing forever, the other Ethan explained. Well done on reporting this, the police officer acknowledged, giving a slight nod. Is there anything you'd like to ask? The alternate Ethan paused for a moment. Will he be allowed visitors? In prison, I mean. The cop regarded him with suspicion. Why do you want to visit him in prison for? He's a twisted and dangerous individual. A sinister grin crept across the alternate Ethan's face. One eye fixed on me while the other focused on the police officer. Well, officer, we're best friends. Best friends always stick together, even if things take a wild turn. Don't you know? As the officer excused himself to attend to other matters, the alternate Ethan turned to me with a twisted smile. Don't worry, Ethan. We'll have plenty of time to catch up. After all, best friends stick together, no matter what. I couldn't shake off the eerie feeling that his definition of catching up involved something far more sinister than simple friendship. If you like our content, please subscribe, so you can be notified when we upload more videos like this one.